All right, so hi everybody. It is a pleasure to see all of you, or at least know that I'm seeing all of you. So today we are gathered for a very special class that I'm really excited to offer. This is Wild Woman Yoga. For those of you who have not met me before, my name is Kristen, one of the teachers here at Elle Studio Wellness here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we are going to be exploring a few things with this Wild Woman Yoga. So I'm the facilitator of something called the Wild Woman Project. It's a monthly gathering where we gather around the new moon to explore the different astrological archetypes, to explore how we can relate that back to our lives. So taking something that's general and making it highly, highly specific, which is super, super fun. So to prepare, what I want you to make sure that you have is your mat or designated floor space, making sure that you have your a journal and a pen nearby, so that's something that you're going to use for yourself once the class is over. Making sure that you have a blanket or a towel. If you're somebody with blood pressure concerns, limited flexibility, or pre or postnatal, grab a chair. So we'll be working with that option just in case. And then a candle and something to light that with nearby. Okay, so just make sure that you have your stuff. Make sure that you're nice and situated. And then to begin our class, so the same way that we begin all of our Wild Woman circles, we begin by somewhat of an invocation, a lighting of the candle. So think of this almost as your signal to yourself that your practice is beginning. So sit up nice and tall, take your candle, take something to light it with. Let this flame ignite the wild spirit that burns within each of us. As we ignite our own wild spirit, we ignite the collective spirit. And then place your candle off to the side, preferably somewhere towards the top of your mat, just letting that be a reminder for you. And then again, find your seat, nice and tall. Relax your shoulders, relax your eyes, relax your gaze, and just listen into my voice. So think of this as an early centering for the rest of the class. So we are gathering tonight to observe our coming moon cycles. And we are right now in the house of Taurus, which is an earth sign, and our next moon cycle is moving into Gemini. So Gemini is the third house in the astrological system, and it's ruled by the element of air. The most classic representation is the image of the celestial twins. So even the bar on the top, on the bottom, looks like the Roman numeral 2. And a lot of times this image, this representation of the cosmic twins, the celestial twins, sometimes that comes off as opposites. You have a good side, you have a bad side, like a two faces kind of thing. But in my exploration of this archetype, what I find to be more helpful is to look at this more as a gradient. So less light, dark, and more a spectrum, a gradient of one specific thing. So think of the gradient of your joy. Sometimes it's really small, sometimes it's overwhelming. The gradient of your grief, sometimes it's really small, sometimes it's overwhelming. There's so many different gradients that we exist in our daily life. And so in particular, what I would like to explore in our class today is the gradients of our breath. So Gemini, being ruled by the air sign, is the embodiment that we're going to take through our class today. So I'm going to stay seated, but I'd like for you to lay down on your mat, flat against your mat. You can put a blanket behind your head if you like, blanket underneath your knees if you like. I just want you to get really nice and cozy here. And then as you lay flat against the ground, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And just let yourself really settle here against the floor. And as you breathe, as you start to explore your breath, I want you to start to explore the gradients. What does it feel like when you reach that highest point of inhale, when your lungs are fully inflated, when you're full of breath, full of this life? And then as you exhale, how deeply can you press all of that air out? So in this moment, in this quiet moment, find your gradient. Lying flat down on the floor, feeling your body gently moving up and down with the rhythm of your breath. As you breathe, I like to offer up this quote about breath. This is from Bridget Esselmont. Some of you may know her as the founder of Biddy Tarot. She's just really excellent. I love her explanations of the elements, and this is what she has to say about the element of air. Air is tangible and unseen, but also in constant movement. Air can be still and mostly unnoticed to become a breeze or a fierce wind. It's a powerful, yet refreshing and cleansing element. Symbolically, the air element relates to knowledge, action, power, and change. It's a masculine energy that can be led by force and power, even though it remains unseen. So the element of air is a highly cerebral element. A lot of the time when we think of our thoughts, they're either racing or they're calm and they're steady. So it's like the wind is blowing ferociously, kicking up your thoughts like leaves, or it's really nice, really steady. Again, the gradient of your thoughts can match the gradient of your breath. If you're really anxious and your breath is very short, what's the gradient of your breath will match the gradient of your thoughts. And a lot of this is because our body is in constant response to our breath. So bringing that more esoteric concept down into the body here, what we're going to be working with is not just our breath, but specifically with the 4 diaphragms of the body, the 4 main diaphragms. There are a lot of different energetic and physical schools of thought between the diaphragm, how many we actually have, but we're going to stick with the 4 for today. So again, I want you to find your breath, find this breathing deeply in and deeply out. Just keep listening to my voice, keep resting down against the ground. I'm starting to take this in, taking this air, taking this thought, taking this gradient, and slowly beginning to embody that in your own state. So the first diaphragm is the cranial diaphragm. So I want you to picture the top of your head. Let all your awareness float up towards the crown of your head. This is the area that houses the organ of your brain. And take another deep breath in. Imagine you can fill all of your air just to this point. And then exhale, bring your awareness down towards your throat. So this is called the cervical diaphragm. This is the tongue, the soft palate. Few breaths here. All of your focus, all of your energy here. And now bringing your focus down towards the base of your lungs, bottom of your lungs. So this is known as the thoracic diaphragm. This is the diaphragm you've probably heard the most. This is what we call the diaphragm. So this is the muscle of your breath. Very large muscle that works on filling the lungs. It moves down when we exhale. It moves up. Your awareness settle around this point. One more breath. And then as you exhale, bring your awareness down to the region of the pelvic floor. To the pelvic floor, same idea. There's a rising and a falling. It's in conjunction with our breath. We have these 4 chambers that we're going to be working on activating. Now, one disclaimer, if you are joining us and you are pregnant, if you are joining us and you know you have some blood pressure concerns, we're going to be working with holding our out breath. So holding the out breath out and feeling the vacuum of our diaphragm system. If at any point you feel lightheaded, just listen to what I'm saying, but I encourage you to start taking deep breaths instead. So no need to push yourself. Let your body be the messenger here. That's the whole point. Okay, so with that in mind, you'll always hear me moving through these cues. Know that you can take them or leave them as your body tells you to. So just take a deep breath in, and then release, sigh it out. One more time, deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Now, on your next breath, I want you to take a really deep breath in. And as you exhale and sigh everything out, I want you to find the bottom of that breath. Keep pushing that air out, pushing, pushing, pushing all the way out until you're at empty. And then seal your breath closed. So you're sealing your breath on the out breath. Hold that for as long as it's comfortable, and then take another in breath. And then again, listen to my voice, just start to breathe normally here. So what you're experiencing when you hold your breath out on the out breath is that vacuum experience. You feel the pelvic floor lift, the diaphragm lifts. You feel the cervical diaphragm lift. You feel the cranial diaphragm lift. You feel these 4 quadrants lifting up, making this energetic upward motion through the trunk of the body. So what's interesting is this can be a little anxiety provoking sometimes. This is something that I usually experience a lot of anxiety in the practice of. But bringing this back to our concept of air being a very cerebral element, I want you to invite this gradient into your existence right now. Does this have to be anxiety, or is this adrenaline that I'm feeling? Is this something that I can work with, the gradient of fear? Can I turn that into curiosity and excitement? In this moment of holding our out breath out, can I experience the gradient of emptiness before allowing myself to expand into the gradient of fullness? Okay, so we're going to do this a few times. I'm going to lay down now and join you because I've talked for long enough. So listening into my cues here again. Feel the skull pressing against the floor. Feel your body against the floor. And start to feel the trunk of your structure significantly, rising and falling, working with the gradient of your breath. If the gradient of your thoughts starts to become the totality of your practice, let go of the breath for a moment, just take it back to normal. Exhale, sigh it all out. Take a deep breath in. And exhale completely. All the way out. Find your empty and then hold. Feel the vacuum of the 4 quadrants all the way up. Follow that energy. Take a deep breath in. And again, exhale all the way out to empty. All the way out to empty. All the way out and hold. Feel the vacuum from the pelvic floor all the way up to the cranial diaphragm. Deep breath in. Feel that energetic lift as your lungs fill and exhale out. Now again, take this at your own pace. Of all the elements that rule through the zodiac, air is definitively one of the most challenging. It centers around our actions, it centers around our thoughts. It's a very intense sign, usually because it becomes a very deeply personal sign, very, very quickly. So in this moment, as you're moving through your breath, can you observe your own thoughts here? If you start to experience a lessening of a gradient, and your thoughts are circling only towards one side, whether I'm doing this totally wrong, I don't know what's going on, I encourage you to try and expand your mental gradient here. Let this be more of an exploration as opposed to a destination. It's like every yoga practice, every practice at all, you're just laying a brick. And then the next time you breathe out, release this practice for a moment. We'll be returning to this practice throughout the class, so we'll take some breaks. So let this be an island of deeper but more normal breathing. And I want you to reach for your blanket or your towel. And like I have here, I have this folded up a few times. You're gonna bend your knees, float that underneath your hips. Open the palms up towards the ceiling. You feel this lift. Chin reaching in towards your chest, base of your skull pressing down against the ground. And feel the slight energetic lift occurring underneath the hips. On the next inhale, begin to float your palms up to the ceiling as if you were brushing your fingers along the ceiling, reaching your arms, lowering your hands down on the floor. In this moment, observe, what does this change in your breathing? You find a little bit more distance from the base of your breath all the way up to the top. And now we're going to activate our out breath again. Take another breath in. Reach your fingers a little bit further past your head. As you exhale, lift your arms away from the floor and start to press your hands down. As your hands press down, you'll press into your heels and lift your hips up any height. And then lower the hips back down onto your blanket, reaching your hands back to the ceiling, and then down past your head. Do that one more time before activating the out breath. On the inhale, reach your fingertips a little bit further behind you. On the exhale, lift the hips, press the hands down. Find that total emptiness of your breath. Lower the hips back to your blankets. Reach the hands back past the head. We're going to start playing with activating the out breath now. You reach your fingers back, take a deep breath in. Press into the heels, exhale, lift the hips any height, lower the hands, and then find that total emptiness, pressing the air out. As you hold, feel that vacuum moving from the pelvic floor all the way up to the top of the head. And then inhale. Feel that breath expanding, releasing almost through your lungs. On the exhale, press the hips up, press the hips down. Again, finding that out breath, breathing all the way out. As you inhale, after you hold that breath, finding that inhale, really opening up through the lungs. Exhale, lift the hips, press the breath out. Hold, feel the vacuum. Lower the hips, lower the hands, deep breath in. Exhale, press the hips up, hands down. Find that out breath, find that hold. Wait until you feel that vacuum before lowering the hips and lifting the hands. We'll do this 2 more times. Press into the heels, exhale, lift the hips. Find that out breath. Feel the vacuum. Inhale, lower the hips. Reach the hands back. Exhale, lift the hips. Press the air out. Hold. Feel the vacuum. And inhale. Lift the hands, lower the hips. Soften through the arms, pausing here for a moment. And then slowly roll over to one side. Facing the top of your mat. And then unfolding this blanket just one time. So that you are able to just have a little bit of padding. Nothing that your knees are too high off of. And then we're going to take our hands in this. And just let yourself arrive here for a moment. So that breath practice is intense. It's intense physically, it's intense mentally. So this is how we're inviting this 3rd house of Gemini, cerebral, first of the air signs, into our bodies. And working with this gradient by fearlessly and bravely exploring this gradient. Even if we have fear, entering into that fear with courage. So now if you're in this tabletop pose and your wrists already feel uncomfortable, just walk your hands up just a little bit and you open this table out. So know that's an option, not a necessity. We're going to take cat-cow breathing, but we're going to do it in the opposite direction. So for your next breath in, start to curl your sit bones underneath. Feel your spine rolling forward, letting the breath roll your spine all the way forward, shoulders just a little past your fingertips even. On your exhale, leading with the tailbone. So feel the belly curve, slide the hips back towards the ankles. Curl the sits bones underneath as you inhale and roll forward. As you exhale, feel the belly curve, press the sits bones back behind you. Inhale to roll forward. Exhale, leading with the sits bones. Curve the back. Just keep moving with your own rhythm, knowing that we're eventually going to add the holding of the out breath here. And for now, I want you to feel the establishment of your breathing practice. All right, so this next breath in, wherever you are, the next time you breathe in, feel your exhale, pressing your sits bones back. Feel that bottom of the lung hold. On the out breath, feel the activation of the diaphragms. to allow you to lift into your next inhale. What we're doing here with this activation is it's almost as if we're completing the circle. Instead of looking at the breath as an upward motion and a downward motion, it's almost as if we're fleshing this process out by creating that energetic line from the out breath into the in breath with the holding of the breath, with the lifting of the diaphragms. We're increasing our own inner gradient with the relationship to our breath. Two more times, moving at your own pace. We'll all meet back in this somewhat lifted child's pose. And then we should return to normal breathing, looking up towards the fingertips. Rising back into a tabletop pose and then swinging your left foot off to the side and then up in between your hands. So you want your left foot to have a pretty wide distance here. So just keep heel toeing that left foot over until your hip feels comfortable. Tucking your back right toes. Press your hands against the floor and inhale to lift here. Hands against your hips. Now, quick adjustment. If this is very uncomfortable for your knees and you're somebody who has the chair handy, you're going to take this into your chair. You can have your left foot off to the side, right knee pointing down towards the floor. Also know that this is an option as well. The arms will remain the same. This will be your structure moving forward. On your next inhale, look high towards the ceiling and let your fingertips lift with your gaze. So wherever you're looking towards the ceiling, make sure that your hands are in view. Keep reaching your fingertips high as you exhale. Feel your shoulders dripping down the back. Feel your tailbone reaching towards the mat beneath you, navel very gently reaching in towards the spine. Now activating our breath, not the out breath yet, but activating our body and our breath into the connection. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lower the hands, lower your chin in towards your chest, gaze all the way down to the floor, keeping your hands in eyesight. Inhale, press down into your left heel, reach your hands out to the side, up overhead. Let your fingertips find the ceiling, and exhale. Lower the chin, lower the arms. Now I'm going to give you an option here. You can start activating the hold of the out breath, activating that vacuum if you like. You may need a break, and that's totally fine. So another inhale to lift. As you exhale, chin in towards your chest. Activate the vacuum, the out breath with you. Using that energy to lift. And we'll take that one more time. Lowering the hands down towards the mat and bringing your left knee underneath your left hip. Just sway your hips from side to side here. And then whenever you're ready, reaching your right foot off to the side and up towards the top of your mat. If you're still on your chair, you know that that's where you're going to stay today. Just go ahead and stay right there in the chair. Just switch your legs in the opposite direction. Bring your hands to your hips. Feel the structure of your body. See if you need to widen your right foot. Listening to your hips here. And then release the arms off of the hips. Inhale, arms out, up and overhead. Again, find that spot on the ceiling. Reach your fingertips high. And the shoulder blades drip down the back. Slight activation of the navel in towards the spine. Reaching for the air, reaching for the sky. Letting this breath fill you. And on your exhale, reaching the arms slowly down, chin in towards your chest, keeping your hands in eyesight. Inhale, arms out, up and overhead. And exhale to lower down. Inhaling up. And as you exhale down, your choice, activating the out breath or continuing to move in natural breathing. And next time you breathe out, lowering your arms down, both knees underneath the hips, rock the hips from side to side. And then tucking the toes underneath, reach the hips back, finding that sort of collapsed cow pose, lifted child's pose, collapsed child's pose. Keep feeling the tailbone lifting slowly back behind you, hands pressing down into the mat in front of you. Taking a deep breath in. As you exhale, press into the fingertips, start to lift the heels, press the heels down rather, lift the knees, finding your downward facing dog. Now again, if you're working with limited flexibility today, blood pressure issues, any other reason that you know of, taking onto your chair. So hands at the highest level, bending of the knees, melting of the heart. Moving your blanket off to the side, somewhere where you can reach it if necessary. And letting this downward facing dog be much less about proper alignment and more about how your body needs to move. So we're operating with this sense of flow today, specifically with our breath. So let that start to translate itself through your body. How does it need to move right now? What would feel really, really good? Maybe it's not even an option that I'm saying, it doesn't matter. Anything you need to do here. And then looking up towards your hands or towards your chair. Bending your knees and stepping or walking into a forward fold. If you are utilizing the chair, just bring your hands from the top of the chair down to the seat of the chair. Slight bend of your knees, spilling forward of your torso, then just gently drifting from side to side. Feeling this normal breath, sometimes when we activate a very controlled style of breathing, it's really easy to hold your breath when you're not really thinking about it. So take this moment, sigh everything out, clear those channels, and start to find your deep, steady breathing, pressing into your heels, slight bend of the knees as you very slowly begin to rise up to stand. Opening the palms forward. Finding a strong stance. Feeling your body moving down through the ground. Palms open. Heart open. Starting to return back to this sense of our breath. As you exhale out, press everything out and down, out and down. Hold. Feel that vacuum of the diaphragm reaching up, and then take a deep breath in. Find your exhale again. Find that out breath. Hold. Feel the vacuum. Feel the lift. Deep breath in. Exhale. Again, all the way out. Feel the vacuum. Feel that lift. Release into an inhale. And then all the way out. So again, working with this out breath. Let's take 2 more cycles normally. Preparing yourself to work within this gradient of emptiness and fullness through this next few sequences. We'll all have a clean slate here, so clean the slate, breathe everything out. Normal breath in. Breathe it all the way out. As you hold, start to feel that vacuum. Lift your left heel off the mat. As you release into your inhale, lifting your left knee high. And the next exhale, press your left foot all the way back behind you. Toes in a diagonal, heels inward. So left toes are grazing the side of your mat. Keep heel-toeing your right foot over to the right side. So you want a really wide stance here. Letting your breathing be normal, regular, and steady. Breathing with intention, even beyond our out-breath. So just breathing with intention here. Rooting back through your left heel and pressing down through your right toes. Activating through the palms, to the crown of your head, the neck lengthens behind you. On your next breath in, reach the arms out, up and overhead. And again, so to lift your head high to the ceiling. Right at that point, keep returning to lifting high, reaching higher than our current state. So the shoulders melt down the back. Next inhale, press into your right heel, lengthen your top leg, reach your hands a little bit further back, but keeping them in your eyesight. Now as you exhale, bending into your knee and sweeping your hands behind you. And try this again, and we're going to now activate the out breath. So pressing into your right heel, lengthening the leg. Inhale, reach the arms out, up and overhead. As you exhale, bend the knee, reach your arms back behind you. Find that out breath at the end of your exhale. Feel the vacuum and feel that as the impetus to straighten your right leg and sweep your hands back up to the ceiling. Bending into the knee, lowering the hips, reaching the hands back. Find the out breath, activate that vacuum. Press into your heel, lengthen the leg, reaching high. This embodiment of fullness and emptiness. Bend the knee, reach the arms back. One more time. Press into the heel, reach the arms high. And exhale, bend into the knee, hands to your hips. And heel toe your left foot up to meet your right. Return back to standing with the arms. And breathing your intention. As you exhale, press all the air out. Hold at the bottom, find that vacuum. Lift your right heel now away from the mat. As you release into your inhale, lifting your right knee away from the floor. And then as you exhale, slowly pressing that right leg back behind you. Right toes raise the outside of your mat, heel towards the inside, heel toe in your left foot all the way to the edge of the mat. Really wide stance. Lower the hands. The fingers weighting down towards the floor. On your next inhale, slowly reaching the arms out, up and overhead. Pressing back into your right heel. The left toe is moving down. And slowly tilt your gaze high to the ceiling. This acknowledgement. There's so many things in front of you, above you, below you, on either side. You're surrounded by possibilities. The shoulders melting down the back. And still breathing with intention here. Pressing into your left heel, lengthen your left leg. Slowly tip your hands back, keeping them in eyesight, but a little further behind you now. As you exhale, bend into your left knee and sweep your arms back behind you. So start to braid these movements together, activating the out breath now. On the inhale, sweep your arms forward, lengthening the left leg. Now as you exhale, bending into the knees, sweep your arms back. Find the out breath, press the air out. Feel that vacuum, let that be the impetus to straighten your left leg, reaching the arms high. Again, exhaling, finding that out breath, finding that vacuum. Exploring your own sense of radiance here. Exploring the thoughts that come up when you approach the edge of both of those radiance. One more time. And release and breathe out. Release. Bring your hands onto your hips. Heel toeing your right foot in to meet your left. And turning back to that strong stance of standing. Reach the arms out, up and overhead. And on the exhale, very gently float your way back down to the mat. Now taking your blanket or towel, whatever you've got handy, and opening that up about as wide as your mat, a little bit wider. We're going to be placing that right where your shoulder blades are. So your head will be off of the mat. Opening your arms wide and laying your hands down. Now, if you are joining us in the second or third stages of pregnancy, you may want to find a pillow, something to just keep you a little bit more at an angle. So if that's you, make the adjustments now. And placing your palms down, heel-toeing your feet as wide as your mat or as wide as your hips. And as you exhale, slowly tilting your knees over towards the left and let your gaze fall over to the right. As you inhale, knees to the ceiling, gaze up. Exhale, knees to the right, gaze to the left. So you're starting to soften that sense of gradient now. Keep moving with your breath. We've spent a lot of time working with the system of our diaphragm this evening. But to see if you can still feel into that system without that firmer activation. You can still start your breath from the pelvic floor all the way up to the head, to the brain. And then feel it spilling down from the brain to the pelvic floor. And very slow. The next time you breathe out, sliding your feet along the floor or the mat, letting your hips even out against the ground. Adjusting for this final moment of your Shavasana. In the system of the Wild Women Circle, Wild Women Project, we start each circle with a card. So as you're laying here, as you're resting, just let my words fill your mind. And the card that was chosen for this evening is from a deck called Work Your Light. It's a deck of oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. The card that we chose for tonight is called The Crumbling. What are you clinging on to? Let's take a breath. What are you clinging on to? There's a shift happening right now where anything inauthentic can no longer survive. Relationships, jobs, social structures, anything built on shaky ground is designed to tumble down. It's happening to bring you back home to who you truly are, both individually and to society as a whole, so you can live a life that is in alignment with who you truly are. When you're in the thick of it, it can feel like a personal attack from the universe. Have faith, because the difficult times will be your defining moments. You will be reborn in the fire. Take a deep breath. And your thoughts crystallize. Whereas anything that you can feel, that you know, with your deep, deep intuition, that you know is built on shaky ground. You are being called to surrender, to stop trying to hold it all together, to loosen your grip, to let the crumbling occur, to let this crumbling occur. So feel your out breath now, not the hold at the bottom, but the simple release of your breath. Imagine this shaky ground beginning to crumble simply with the power of your breath. And as you breathe out, you are choosing to release. You are choosing to sweep away any gravel, sweep away any roads that don't have a proper foundation. Any buildings made of cardboard. Each time you breathe out, those things crumble and fade and are swept away. It may be difficult at first, but in the end, the sooner you let go, the sooner the rebirthing will occur. What are you trying to hold together? What are you doing your best to avoid? How are you trying to pretend everything is okay? As you breathe, let these words be your guideposts. What are you trying to hold together? What are you doing your best to avoid? How are you trying to pretend everything is okay? Keep following your breath. Keep letting these thoughts crystallize, these feelings crystallize, these visions crystallize. You have what it takes to allow what is falling away to tumble. Once the tower has crumbled, you will be able to rebuild your home on solid ground with mighty foundations and a view that is so magnificent it will take your breath away each new morning. Kali, the goddess of destruction, and the Black Madonna are here with you now. Lay it all on their altar, making hold it all. Keep breathing, breathing through the rhythm, inviting this cerebral sense of air to infiltrate your thoughts, to support you on this inner journey. And start to rock your head from side to side. So to move through your fingers, move through your toes. Keeping this quiet place of wisdom within you, rolling over to one side, pressing down against the floor and lifting back into that seated position, back where we started. In this moment, taking stock of your own radiance. We started in a seated posture. We're ending in a seated posture, but what happened in between? This embodiment of the duality, of all the dualities that exist within you. This universe that exists between your starting point and your ending point, for at all times present. So I ask this question of you now. What are you clinging to for fear of nothing coming to take its place? And once you're able to let go, what are you choosing to grow there? What are you choosing to build? So whenever you're ready, we'll end this class together and turn to your piece of paper, your journal, write down anything that you felt, anything that you experienced, and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. With that, thank you so much for practicing today. Namaste.